Hi guys, hi friends. I'm Tina and I'm coming to you from my home office in my back hall, working from home like all of you, and wanting to create some community around doing a project for Earth Day with you. I want us to do a waste audit across the whole community. So I'm going to talk to you about what that is in a minute, but first I want to talk about garbage a little bit. So my job is to go around to schools, some of you have even met me, and talk about waste diversion. Waste diversion means making sure that our waste goes to where it should go. So mostly our garbage goes to a landfill or a dump, and most of you have probably been to some sort of landfill or dump. Humans have been burying garbage for thousands of years. In fact, I got to do this super cool thing last summer where I went on an archaeological dig near the Puntledge River, and there was a group of University of British Columbia students with an archaeologist learning and digging in something called a shell midden. And a midden is an ancient indigenous landfill that people used to bury garbage in. And so the day I was there, they were digging, they were nearly finished, and there was this huge hole. When you went down inside, it was dark and damp, and there were all these layers that represented different times in history. So archaeologists dig in the ground to learn about how people used to live. The day I was there, they found an elk shoulder bone that they think was over 1,000 years old. And this was really cool because what it told them about the people who lived there 1,000 years ago was that they probably ate elk, and that their garbage, the part that they didn't use of the elk, was the shoulder bone, ended up in the midden. So I went home last night really fired up because it was such an exciting day, and I was trying to fall asleep, and I was thinking, let's fast forward science fiction style 1,000 years into the future, and imagine an archaeologist coming to our landfill and digging to learn about how we lived. And I couldn't sleep because I thought they're gonna think that we're a little bit crazy, and because we throw away some pretty strange stuff. So what would the main difference be between garbage from 1,000 years ago and garbage, let's say now? It would be not an elk shoulder bone probably. We invented something really cool called plastic, and so a lot of our garbage comes from things that are plastic or made with other toxic things. Plastic is actually made with oil and acid, and so our garbage now, when it breaks down, is actually quite poisonous. When it rained 1,000 years ago, the garbage just, the water went through the garbage, soaked into the ground, and it was fine. It just passed by an elk shoulder bone and some pottery on the way down. Now, when it rains on our landfill, it creates something called leachate or garbage soup, which is like poisonous water. And so we have had to figure out different ways to deal with our waste. So we have an older landfill now in the Comox Valley. It's just being capped. It's called Pigeon Lake Landfill. And the landfill in Campbell River is almost full as well, about 2 years, and they'll have to cap that and cover it up with dirt and plant grass on top. Underneath will still be garbage. And then Gold River, Tassus, that whole area as well has landfills that are almost full. So all of the garbage from those regions is going to be coming to a brand new landfill that we have built in the Comox Valley. It's our regional landfill, and it has some amazing technology I want to talk to you about, which is part of the reason why we want to divert our waste. So it cost $18 million to build this thing. It is huge. It is 11 football fields big. And the whole thing is lined with a plastic liner that looks like, oh, I've got it right here, like this. The reason for that is this. So here is a bottle of that leachate I was talking about. So when it rains and the rain comes down through our whole watershed, it sifts through our garbage and it makes this, which is like really stinky. It smells like dog farts basically, and it's dirty, as you can see. So our new landfill has some amazing technology. The whole thing is lined with this liner. Think of it like a big giant bowl, 11 football fields big, a big giant bowl or a diaper, and it catches all this dirty water on top of it. That's the first cool thing about our new landfill. The second cool thing is not only do we catch this water, there's a building right next to the landfill. We treat it. It's called a leachate treatment facility. And this is a sample of water taken the same day. we turn the water back into clean water that can be pumped back into the watershed so fish can swim in it and we can treat it for our drinking water. Super, super cool. Very, very good. Much better than letting this run underground where our watershed runs, where worms are, where roots of vegetation and other animals live. So this is really amazing. The third cool thing about the landfill is that when garbage itself breaks down, it kind of farts. It creates gas, methane gas, and we have pipes and kind of think of it like vacuums going down under the garbage, and we're sucking that gas up, and we're going to be harvesting it and using it to heat homes through Fortis, BC. These are amazing things. Really good technology. We want to take care of it, and we want our landfill to last a long, long time. So I'm standing at the top of the landfill, visiting with my amazing friend Jen Ivan, who got me these samples and gave me this thing. The staff at our landfill are so fantastic. And I asked her, how long is this going to last? So there's one whole cell. Your teacher can show you a video of when it was being built. 11 football fields big, so picture 11 of your school fields, even bigger. When it's full, the garbage will be 10 stories tall. So that's like 10 of my houses or 10 of your schools stacked on top of each other. So much garbage, right? So I asked, how long is this going to last us, given the current rate that we throw garbage away in the area? And she said, I think you should guess. Are you guessing? She said 5 years. Only 5 years they think this landfill could fill up, and they'll have to build a new cell. So my job, as I said, is to go and talk to people about diverting waste. So making sure that waste goes in the right place. So we talk about R's, and I think we started out with like 3 R's. Reduce, so use less stuff, throw away less stuff. Reuse, reusing things instead of throwing them away. Recycle, make sure that things that can be recycled, which is when they break the material down and turn it into another thing, make sure things that can be recycled get put in the recycling. There are other R's too. Repair, we can fix things. We can compost, I like to say rot. We can just rethink. We can rethink how we do things, and we can refuse. We can refuse certain products because there's too much garbage involved. So I wanted to show you a few things in my garbage bucket that you might not even know are recyclable or that you could do something else with. And this is what I do with classes, and then I'm going to invite you to go through your own garbage. So let's go with this first. This is a cereal box from my house. This doesn't go in the garbage can. We can keep this and divert it from going to the landfill if we don't want it to fill up too quickly, right? And so this can be recycled because it's cardboard. Other things. This one here, oh, I have a vitamin bottle. So this, let's see which one of my R's could help me with this. I could reuse this for something else, or I could recycle it because it's plastic and can be turned into something else. I have a few other things here. I have some cardboard, again, recycle. I would actually probably reuse this. We used to have pet rats and they love to play in it, so I might even reuse this for a craft, make something out of it. There's some other things in here. Fabric. I have a piece of fabric left over from Christmas holidays. I could reuse this. And when fabric is really, if you're not wearing something anymore, you could share it or recycle it. You could donate it to a thrift store so it gets reused. And there are areas, the thrift stores will also recycle textiles. So this never has to go to the landfill, right? This is interesting. So an apple. Does an apple need to go in the landfill? So first of all, this is actually a plastic apple. But an apple you want to eat first. You don't want to waste it. Food waste is a really big deal. And food ending up in the landfill is also a really big deal because when it breaks down inside of a landfill where it's buried and there isn't any air or light, it actually creates a lot of methane gas, which is a greenhouse gas that we don't want to create a lot of. So it's really important to keep food waste out of the landfill if you can. So this can be composted. We can either make sure it all gets eaten, or the core, which we probably wouldn't eat, although I know some people who do, would get put in your compost. And compost is like Mother Nature's magic recycling. It turns it into soil that we can use again. So this doesn't need to go to the landfill. I have a whole bucket here that was going to go in the garbage, and now I realize these things don't have to go there. Here's one. Straws. Straws are not recyclable. Even though they're plastic, they don't get recycled. And so the best are to deal with stuff like this is to refuse to buy these and refuse them when you're at a restaurant. You could just order your apple juice and say, I'll take it without a straw, please. You don't have to have these. You can also buy reusable straws, which exist if you really feel like you need a straw. So that doesn't have to go to the landfill. What else is in my garbage? Oh, this doesn't have to go to the landfill. I make pickles, so I can reuse this. And if I did want to get rid of it, this is glass, and so I would want to recycle the metal and the glass. Let's see. Actually, this would really need to be reused. Other glass, like, let's see, bottles and things like that, they can be recycled. Put a few other things in here. Now, here are a couple things you might not know are recyclable. This I call crinkly plastic, or it's also called other flex packaging. Chip bags, granola bar wrappers, that kind of thing. These are recyclable. Did you know that? I didn't know it for a long time. So what you do have to do with these, though, is you have to keep them, and you have to take them when you take your glass to the dump or the bottle depot. Right now, those things aren't operating during the same hours as they normally do. The bottle depots are closed, and the landfills ask that you only go if you have to. But you can save this, and when they open again, this can go into a bin at the recycle depot or at the dump. So this, I call this crinkly plastic because it makes a sound and it's not stretchy. Ziploc bags. These don't have to go to the landfill. I think this is one of those refuse things where you don't really need to use a lot of Ziploc bags. But if you do use Ziploc bags, you can also reuse them. You can wash them again. And when you're totally finished using them, these are also crinkly plastic because they have more than one kind of plastic in them. They have the zipper lock and this. So these all go in the same bin. I have a bin at my house with a hole in the front, and I just stuff it full of this stuff. I save it, and when I go to the bottle depot, when it's time, then I take it with me and put it in the right bin. When you go there, they have signs and they explain it all, so you don't have to know everything. Here's another one. This is soft plastic, so I call that one crinkly plastic, and this one soft plastic. So this is stretchy. When I pull on it, it stretches before it tears. Bread bags, plastic overwrap, things like that. This is recyclable too, shopping bags. So these, especially shopping bags, you can either refuse, you can bring your own bag, or if you're going to use it, you can also reuse it. And then when you're finished with it, you can recycle it. So 3 R's could help us deal with this not going to the landfill. But you have to save it for now. Take it when it's open again. Here's one that's really interesting. This is a cover wrap for a kind of apple. And the only R I can think of, well, you might want to, you could reuse this, you could repurpose it and make a craft out of it, use it for something else. My favorite way of dealing with things like this is to refuse, kind of like the straw, and think, well, if I see a stack of apples that are wrapped in this, and I see a stack of apples that aren't when I'm at the store, I'm probably going to buy the ones that don't have this wrapper. So I have the power to refuse that, and then I have less garbage I have to deal with at home. So those are some of the things I wanted to tell you about my can of garbage here. I'm going to put it all back and clean it up. It's not going to go to the landfill now. When I'm finished talking to you, I'm going to sort it properly and put it in the right place. Now, here's the challenge. I want all of you to do your own waste audit at home. So I have some instructions for you here. I want you to save a big bag of trash, probably about 3 days worth of trash from your house. You could even maybe go out to the garbage can and grab one. It's gonna be super gross. I want you to have some rubber gloves or some garden gloves or something to protect your hands. That's really important. Most people have rubber gloves around right now, so it shouldn't be too hard. Even those yellow dishwashing gloves would do. So we don't want you to touch garbage without some protection on your hands. So what I want you to do is save your trash, and then I want you to have a garbage bag, and I want you to weigh it. The way you do that is you weigh yourself on the scale, and then you weigh yourself holding the garbage, and then you do some math by subtracting your weight from the total. So whoever's with you can help you with that if that sounds complicated. So you want to determine how much your garbage weighs. That's how much garbage you were going to send to the landfill. That was going to go there into our big, huge 11 football field landfill that we're trying to get to last a lot longer. So that's the first thing you do. I also want you to take a picture of it. So I want you to take a picture of it, and I want you to weigh it. You're going to be telling your teacher, you're going to be telling me how much it weighed to start with. Then I want you to take it outside and have some sort of tarp or similar thing spread out on the ground. Don't do this on a windy day. I want you to dump the trash out, and I want you to sort it. I want you to look at it with some of the information I gave you and other information I'm going to send to your teacher to share with you, and think to yourself, does that really need to go to the landfill, or could I reuse it? Could I recycle it? Could I repurpose it? That means making it into something else. Could I repair it? Does it belong in the compost? Should I rot it? And so all of those R's that I talked about, look at the tarp and see if you can sort them by category. So I want you to sort them out as things that could be recycled. And then other things that could be composted, which is any food waste, actually. Some of you have curbside pickup for compost in Comox Courtney. The rest of you will have to use your own garden compost. Some of you won't be able to compost. Maybe you're in apartment buildings. So compost is a bit complicated, but for the sake of this activity, I want you to put all the food waste into a corner of the tarp that's relegated to compost, so that you can see how much, if we created systems for compost, wouldn't have to go to the landfill. The third category I want you to make is things that could be reused. Well, hey, there's a jar there. We don't need to throw that away. I could reuse it. So that's the third thing. The fourth thing is what really, really needs to go to the landfill. Like what none of my R's can handle. I can't reuse it. I can't recycle it. I can't compost it. I can't do anything else with it. It has to go to the landfill. So then I want you to take another picture for me. I want you to show me what your landfill pile looks like after you've really thought about it and you've applied all of those R's and this information I've shared with you. I want you to take another picture, and I want you to weigh it again. Now, when I have done waste audits, which is a lot, I've done them in so many classrooms, usually my actual landfill pile, the stuff that really has to go to the dump, is so small and so little that I can't even weigh it. So I'm hoping that happens to you too, where you realize, holy cow, we're putting so much stuff in the garbage that doesn't need to be there. Maybe we want that super fancy new landfill to last longer. And it just so happens, because it is Earth Week, that all of these practices I'm talking about, all of our R's, being more conscious of what we consume, and buy, being more conscious of where we put our garbage, all those things make you a better environmental steward. All of those things mean that you're being kinder to the earth. So it's a perfect thing to do for Earth Week. So that's all I have for you today. I want to challenge you to do a waste audit in your home. Take a picture before, take a picture after, weigh it before, weigh it after. Your teacher may give you some other lessons around graphing or around math or around journaling. I don't know what they're going to do with this, but they can do a lot. You guys can do a lot of really meaningful activities and learn a lot of really cool things about you and your family practices through this. I'm hoping that there are families all over the community from Comox Valley North that are doing this together at the same time during Earth Week, being in community, even though we're far apart, learning about our own waste, learning how to be better for the earth. When you've done all this, I really want to invite you to, if you're on social media, to post your pictures. Post your before and after pictures with the hashtag Audit Your Waste. I'm just letting you know the handwriting's funny because I had to write this backwards or it doesn't work. So hashtag Audit Your Waste. I'm going to post some pictures online that are hashtag Audit Your Waste, so you can see some pictures of waste audits that I have done with classrooms. It's pretty cool. It sounds gross, it sounds crazy, but I think that you're actually going to learn a lot, and your class and your teacher and your whole community are hopefully going to be doing it together for Earth Day and Earth Week, and so go for it. The instructions are going to come from your teacher. I have had such a nice time talking to you. I wish it was in person, and I really look forward to seeing you all again face to face. Have a great Earth Week. Be really, really good to the earth. Go outside, listen to the birds, look at the plants, smell the flowers, and audit your waste.